Ladies and gentlemen, shocks in the global environment over the last 4 years have posed challenges for the world economy. The days when we could think of each other, when we could think of each of our economies in isolation are long gone. And what happens in the Americas impacts on the Caribbean and the rest of the world. For instance, the opening up of the Panama Canal that we have heard of, we've had that mentioned already. That is going to have far-reaching but very positive effects on world trade. The challenges for Caribbean countries, as with all other countries, are how do we ensure that globalization and integration are benefiting the broad base of the people here? How do we ensure that the economic growth is sustainable and robust? How do we ensure that there are economic opportunities for a wide cross-section of our people? And how do we ensure that new business opportunities for new products and new services are created, developed, and sustained? In these times, governments have to institute economic policies of restructuring, of adjustments, diversification for sustainable growth and development. These policies also have to take into account the current international trading system and the realities of the international financial markets. The global trading system is one of trade liberalization and the reciprocity of access and the elimination of tariffs by developing countries to major partners. Trade agreements are one way to reduce tariff barriers, thereby opening the parties to the benefits of increased trade. It is against this background that the government of Trinidad and Tobago remains committed to a continued process of diversification, development of a flexible and productive industrial and services base, as well as enhancement of investment opportunities. The diversification thrust also involves the nurturing and strengthening of a culture based on entrepreneurship and innovation and the facilitation of an enabling business environment. One mechanism for the successful attainment of these goals necessitates the creation of a platform to preserve, to build on, and to broaden the scope of the current instruments of trade and economic cooperation. Strategies and measures to improve market access for goods and services also need to be deepened. As Trinidad and Tobago continues to develop and to provide a better quality of life for all of its citizens, investment is critical for business creation, expansion of exports, generation of employment, and increased revenue and other tangible outputs. Investment is also necessary to create a solid platform for the continued development of business enterprises from micro to large-scale business. And I know previous speakers have mentioned about the recent ECLAC report, so I won't go into those details, but I think it says a lot that this region is a region of great interest to the rest of the world. The region's sustained economic growth, even though it was a bit slower in 2010, continued to attract investments seeking to tap into dynamic domestic markets. High international prices for raw materials spurred investments in natural resource extraction and processing. The economic crisis in the developed economies continued to prompt business restructuring, relocation of operations, and the offshoring of manufactured operations and remote business services. And I think we all agree that what you see happening in the world now, imagine the United States re-energizing its manufacturing sector, something that I don't think many of us would have thought. Also in the UK, the same thing is happening. So here it is that we have a reverse operation going on now. So in terms of trade liberalization process, CARICOM member states have already have trade agreements with the Dominican Republic, with Colombia, with Costa Rica, with Cuba and Venezuela. CARICOM, which is CARICOM and the Dominican Republic, has an economic partnership agreement with the European Union. Collectively, these markets represent a population of just 1 billion persons. These agreements have created increased market access for CARICOM countries and the Dominican Republic. Additionally, there is much potential in the South-South linkages that have to be harnessed.